Lenovo always brings a lot of laptops to CES. This year is no exception. The flagship for me is probably this guy, the Lenovo Yoga 9i. That Yoga line is very important for Lenovo. It's arguably their most iconic product, maybe next to the ThinkPad. And the Yoga is exactly 10 years old now. The very first one I saw was at CES 2012, January 2012, and it was the first hybrid design that really made sense to me. And that design has gone on to become so iconic. So many other companies basically do the same thing with that 360-degree hinge, so you can have something that looks like a clamshell laptop, that you can fold it back into kind of a kiosk or a table tent mode, or fold it all the way and get like kind of a thick chunky tablet. And we all figured out that was the best way to get that tablet laptop hybrid where you're able to use both forms, but you're not really compromising on either of them. It really makes the best laptop and the best quasi-tablet and tabletop stand and kiosk all in one package. So over the years, the Yoga has evolved. It's changed year after year. The basic concept remains the same, that the hinge changes, the features change. This 9i version is the new flagship, and it's got some interesting new features and upgrades that really make it interesting to me. The first thing that really jumps out at me is the display where you can get up to a 4K OLED screen, and on top of that, it's in a 16:10 aspect ratio. That means that you get a little bit more height on the screen, and especially if you're using it as a work-from-home laptop and you need to read a lot of documents, a little bit of that vertical height really makes a big difference, as opposed to saying, I want something very widescreen and cinematic for like movies and playing games. No, you want a little more room this way. And of course, 4K screen in OLED, that's a big plus to me. There's only a handful of laptops with OLED screens. I always like them. I'm always surprised we don't have more of them. And of course, that screen also supports Dolby Vision for HDR. It's a 60 Hz screen, so not like an esports screen or anything like that, but good enough for everyday use. Lenovo also adds something called one-click function keys to this. Usually you've got your function key row, and then you have to hold down the function button to get either the media and system controls, or hold it down to get to the function keys, depending on which way it's set up. They've taken 5 interesting functions and broken them out into a separate little row of keys, and you can use those for things like setting the performance mode, or automatically blurring your background in video calls. And they've got a little fingerprint reader there also, putting it in a more convenient spot than it has been in some previous models. That central hinge, the version on this model, is built around a 360-degree soundbar. Again, that's something we've seen before, but in this 9i version, the concept is when you have it open in that clamshell laptop, the soundbar is right there in the hinge and it's pointed at you. If you fold it over into like kind of a table tent, well, then it's pointed up and you get the sound that way. And you fold it into a tablet mode, it's still, again, pointed outwards, not into the part that you folded over, so you get decent sound no matter how you fold this thing. And that's one of the reasons why it makes sense to take the soundbar and build it into the 360-degree hinge. Lenovo says they put a touchpad in this that's 45% larger than the previous version. You've got 2 Intel Thunderbolt 4 ports in there for all your connectivity, and it's Wi-Fi 6E, so it'll keep up with the latest Wi-Fi standards. It comes in a couple of colors. I would call it like gray and beige, but Lenovo calls them storm gray and oatmeal. And unlike a lot of other laptops where they charge you extra for all the accessories, this one at least comes with a Lenovo pen in the box if you want to fold it over into tablet mode and do some note-taking or sketching. The 9i is a flagship, but we usually think the 7 series Yogas represent the best bang for your buck, and there's a couple of upgrades there as well. There's a 14-inch model of the 7 and a 16-inch model, and again, you can get OLED screens on those, although not as high resolution as on the 9i. And I'm also very interested in something they're calling the Yoga 6, and the play for this particular system is that it's made of a lot more recycled plastic and other parts than a lot of other laptops and other Yogas. So a certain amount of the body is post-consumer plastic, a certain amount of the packaging, even the power supply. So they're saying this is the greenest product in this product line because it's made of the most recycled material. So good for them. All these new Yogas should be available Q2 2022, starting at $1399 for the 9i, $899 for the 7, and $749 for the Yoga 6. All right, that's it for talking about yogas at CES.